Hey guys,
Hi guys,
welcome back.
Cookie Talks with.
Meosha,
Yes,
Irina, we're back. We're back.
yes, we're back. So, okay, I don't know about you, but my anniversary is coming up, so I'm feeling kind of romantic. I'm all charged up. So, that would be a good topic.
Yeah,
What do you think?
we- I like it. So
Yeah,
romance.
let's talk romance.
Yeah, let's talk romance.
All right. Well, um, so like I said, my anniversary is coming up, so I have a thing or two up my sleeve, and I just figured, okay, while I'm in this wonderful, lustful mood, if you will, it would make it a perfect time to like delve into this subject and discover maybe a couple of nice gems from each other. Because I feel like there's never enough creativity when it comes to romance. There's the cliche version that everybody follows, and then there is the personal touch, right? And it's the personal touch that I personally prefer. Some people like cliche stuff, and how do you feel about that? What do you lean towards more?
I guess mine would fall in the category of cliche because I like doing big, like go big or go home kind of thing. So, like the rose petals, little a nice little view by the beach or something, you know, dinner by the beach with some, just really maybe have somebody play the guitar. I don't know, it's something very romantic. Take it back to the room. You know what I mean?
I
Just
guess, do you have any expectations from the opposite sex? I really
expect.
shouldn't say that. From your partner. Let's put it that way.
Do I have expectations from my partner? That's a good question. Like if it's like my birthday or something like that, or like anniversary, or
In terms of romance, yes.
I
Do you?
personally don't expect that because I don't expect it. I like giving. I like doing it for the person that I'm with. I don't know why, but I just like just making them happy. And for me, I don't know, it's kind of like in a way like I'm creating a project. Like, me, I'm always in my head creatively. So this is another way for me to be creative for someone that I love. So whether it's cliche or something, I like to just kind of like, it's the process for me, and then the whole ta-da, I did that, oh my god, but I don't expect that. I don't expect that. What about you? Do you expect that from your partner?
Well, not really, no. Let me qualify that. I don't think that I do, but I think a part of every woman, and I'm speaking just from my own perspective, plus just by observing how women talk about it, I feel that it's almost ingrained in us that we come to expect romance from a guy. Like that's how we're being wooed, right?
Yeah.
So for me to say I don't expect it would probably be inaccurate. But what I would say is, while I don't put any expectations on the person, it's kind of cool to see and discover how they show that part of themselves. Because
Right.
obviously, everybody views romance differently. To some, romance is the cliche of the flowers and the wine and champagne and whatnot. And to others, it's like, well, if I clean the house for you while you were chilling, that's their definition of showing their romantic side. But to you, are like, you don't notice that because it's not the way you understand it to be. So
Right.
sometimes it could just be misunderstood, even though the person is very well meaning with it. So I feel like there's that. But um so it's the understanding. that goes into the relationship, where you establish what romance means to one and the other.
Now, is that something
So,
you talk about at the beginning of the relationship, or that's something you have to basically discover over time?
well, I think it's best to discover that, because it's not, uh, life or death kind of a situation. It's more, it's like a nice cherry on top. Now, if it's completely gone, probably for somebody it could be a life or death situation,
Yeah.
because it depends. I guess it depends on the level of importance that you put on the romance part of the relationship. To
Yeah.
some, they can take it or leave it. To others, it's like that's what drives my relationship, and if there is no romance, we're done.
Wow.
So it really depends, I would say, but I don't think it's that it's a vital part of the relationship. Although
Okay.
it would be nice,
Yeah,
because
it's
a
like
lot of
it's like the
people,
thought, right?
yeah, it's because I mean, just watching a lot of different relationships, we could tell that the romance tends to go away with time. So it's up to you to keep it alive, really. So I think the level of importance will dictate that. If it's important to you, you will keep it alive, you'll get creative, and it becomes kind of fun. Like, the longer you go, the more creative you tend to need to be to make it, to revive it, if you will. So, um, but I will say, I like what I noticed, at least this time, it was very apparent to me. The fact when you start to plan or do something for your partner, you tend to get much more excited in the giving part of it, like you said earlier, than expecting something from them. I find that to be the most delicious part, is to, you know, not just sneak things in and doing things and planning things without them knowing, and just the presentation of that and watching their reaction. I noticed that the anticipation before the event, the prep time and the thoughts that you put into it, is much more fun and it's much more satisfying than the event itself. Not to say that the event is deflating or anything, no, but the anticipation leading up to it is always a much more fun part for me.
Right. I like that. No, it's yeah. I just feel like women, I don't know, most women, they say that they like being taken care of, they like being pampered. So I would think that kind of falls under the category as being pampered, like your man doing things that that you're like, oh man, I didn't have to tell him to do that. Like, women, I think
Exactly.
our instinct, we're gonna already do that because that's just
Yeah,
something.
we're more wired that way. It's more, I think it's more important to a woman than it is to a man. I think a man does it to appease a woman
Right,
for the most part.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's that. So yeah. With that, so has it ever been times where, like, say there was an event, maybe your birthday or something, or anniversary, case in point, and or let's just say like and you never and you it slipped your mind, but it also slipped his mind. Now, and then you thought about it, you're like, oh yeah, it was but he didn't get me anything or something. How did you feel?
We don't have a pattern in it. We
Okay.
don't, I, like I said, I tend to not put too much weight on that in regards to, oh, if he didn't get me something, I'm gonna let you down. It's not like that, because I also watch what is going on the entire year. We don't just put all this importance on that one day. A lot of people do. It's
Gotcha.
like, we'll make up for everything that didn't happen in that one day. We'll just make it so special, right? To
Yeah.
me, it's the special little things in a daily that round it off. To me, an anniversary is, let's recap, let's take the time to celebrate each other and to look back and see how far we've come. So it's
Like that.
about sharing time together, just the two of us. It's about just like, wow, look at what we've built, or look at where we are together. Look at, and just kind of, it's kind of taking the inventory, but in a very intimate and a fun environment, like warmth, and you get to appreciate what you have done for each other, with each other, together, you know. So for me, it's about that. It's not about, oh, today is the day when you need to appreciate me and show me your appreciation. So I
When
feel
already should be something that you should already do anyway, right? Versus just a day.
exactly. So
Okay.
that's the difference for me in that. Now, if one of us decides to recognize it more than the other, it's not a competition.
Okay.
Just more, let's see what happens. And then if it's something out of ordinary, great. That just adds that much more
Like to
life,
it.
you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that for us. And I prefer it that way because I feel like when you start setting expectations, that's when you're bound to feel disappointed. And why
I
would I want to do that on my anniversary date?
right. Yeah. Right.
So, maybe in order to avoid the disappointment, it's best to just allow things to be what they are and develop organically. I mean, a couple of times we even forgot it.
That's so funny.
Most of
That's when you know you've been together longer than
I don't think it was about
forget.
the length, because I don't think 12 years is that long, honestly.
Well, for me, for people that are like that's never done a 12-year thing or 10 or 5, that's
Well,
pretty long. That's pretty impressive.
well, I think for us it was more about how crazy life was, how busy we were with building our life together. And
Yeah.
that's what, so when you look at that and you're like, oh, it's almost like, wow, we forgot about it. It's because we're so involved and so interested in what we're doing together, then it's okay. So that it just, to me, it's a testament of maybe sometimes like, wow, okay, it's that good. We don't even, we just kind of skipped it.
No, I like that. I like that because like yeah, no, that's really cool. That's interesting. Because I think about my parents, like, they've been together 35, 36 years, something like that, a long time. And, it's like how, yeah, if you were someone that already always had expectations, like imagine how much you have to just like top the next 35 years. Like you've done all it by this time. but
Yeah.
but I think for them it's more of like just they already know that it's something that they don't have to not always show necessarily, but they know that because they've been together for so long that it's just it's not like at this point I don't have to prove my love. You know that I love you at this point. But do you know what I mean? But there's always obviously they do things still, but it's not as like what it was when they were in their like 30s and 40s and you know what I mean?
Well, so, okay, then is that what it is? Is that how we look at it? That we're proving something to each other? Because I don't think, and I mean, I'm glad you said that because if you think about it, that is the premise for a lot of couples to maybe where they feel that way. It's like, how are you going to prove to me that you love me? But the words prove to me is deflating for me personally because I think, again, it goes back to it's in the daily activities. It's how you relate to each other. It's what you are willing to do for one another and how you show that.
Mm-hmm.
So showing, proving, maybe it's the same thing, but proving just sounds like, I don't know, like you have an agenda and you're on trial and you have to, you know, prove something to the other person. I do believe that it's actually can be hurtful to a relationship when you look at it that way.
No, yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
maybe it's something to pay attention to and take inventory of how am I looking at my partner? Am I waiting for him to prove something to me? Is that what my expectations are? Or am I in this because I want to give of myself and show him how much he means to me? And I think it's a little bit different, but it makes it a much healthier exchange when you change your perspective.
Oh
Just
yeah.
wanted to kind of, because when you brought that up, I was like, ah, there it is.
No, I mean, definitely don't look at it that way. But I mean, some, I mean, like,
It's
I'm
no
okay.
accident that you say that. I believe it's our subconscious that is
Well, I'm,
wired
I'm,
that way.
I'm talking about like, like people who've been together for long periods of time. I'm only going from like the outside looking in because I'm not in that situation. But, for me, 30 something years, 20 something, 10, that's a long time with someone. And, so I'm just saying certain things you don't, I think at the beginning of every relationship that you get into or you're in, that you're just learning each other. There's things that you're probably not familiar with that he likes and she doesn't like, or she does like, or whatever. So you're just learning how to treat each other as time goes on. So maybe at the beginning it wasn't, the expectation was on it, was like, I like being treated like this. And as time goes on, you understand how he works, vice versa. And then 10 years, 20 years, it's like at this point, I would think, just on the outside looking in, I would think you guys got it. You should have it down, so
Should,
it's not as
should.
intense at the beginning as it is all these years. It's like, for instance, if I do something repetitively, I'm going to I should get it by
Should.
30. But, I should get it by 30 something years. You know what I'm
You'd
saying?
be, you'd be surprised at, you can be together 20, 30 years and still have the same issue with the person and
That's
they
crazy to
just
me.
don't get it. I mean, case in point, just recently, if you recall, you and I were talking about how your parents discovered something just
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah, just recently.
So
Yeah,
how long
exactly.
have they been together?
They're
So
yeah, yeah. Because
exactly.
it's the way we look at it. It's perspective. We're changing our perspective. Because, like you said, some people can look at something, like you said, for so long one way and not change their focus. And it's like, all these new discoveries. So obviously, you're going to always be discovering things about each other. But as far as like treating someone, for me, in my how I work, I, again, here's this word, I would think by 15, 20, 30 years, the person would understand me if I'm telling them this is how I like to be treated. If they don't get it, then I think you're in a bad, not the right relationship.
Not necessarily.
If they don't know how to treat you,
Well, it's not about not knowing how to treat you. It's it comes down to little things. Because if they didn't know how to treat you, hopefully you would not be in the relationship with them.
hopefully, right? But a lot of people
Hopefully.
are. There's that, because they feel
Yeah.
like, well, at this point, if I leave now, 15 years, and maybe I'm not that young tenderoni as I used to be. I don't know if I'm gonna be great on the market if I leave now. So there's all these things that we're juggling with in our heads that may allow us to stay in a relationship for far too long.
Well, yes, but now we're kind of veering
It's
into
veering
a
off.
whole
Okay,
different
yeah. But
subject,
anyway.
which I can keep up. But what I'm saying is, I'm gonna bring you back a little bit because, well,
I
okay, let's see if I can address this. Not go too deep. Um, no, you bring up a great point. It's true. I think that there's also that part of us, we're constantly weighing pros and cons. Whether we like it or not, we're doing that. And I think when the pros outweigh the cons, you understand that there's enough value in this relationship where it works. Something something obviously works, because if it didn't work at all, they just couldn't be together.
Got it. Makes sense.
So obviously, it's enough for that couple of working elements in their relationship that keeps them together.
Gotcha.
They can complain all day long
Gotcha.
about things they don't like and they wish they could change. But the fact that they're still in a relationship tells me that, you know what, there's enough working for you and you're comfortable enough in it, because if it was completely uncomfortable, you'd leave.
That's true. No, you're absolutely right.
With the exception of those who have victim mentality and will stay in an abusive relationship because they don't know how to leave.
Right.
But that's,
Another
we're not
subject.
going there right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that, so to bring it into perspective.
Yeah, I got you.
So I think there's, going back to what you said about when you first get together versus when you've been together a long time, the main difference is it's a lot more exciting when you first get together because
Right.
everything is new. It's a shiny new toy. It's interesting. You have so much to discover, right? When it becomes a longer time together, I think what you get to appreciate is the depth in which you get to discover one another. It's not about necessarily, although they're still there, the surprise is like, wow, I discovered something new about you that I didn't know, and I've been with you for 12 years. There's less of the newness to it, but there's a lot more depth.
Got it.
And I personally like the depth better because that's you do have an emotional investment in a relationship. And when you can go deeper and deeper and deeper, to me, it's very satisfying because you get to, it's almost like you're starting to grow roots.
I see.
So it becomes much stronger, the foundation.
That's
Even
true.
in those, even in those who may hate each other's guts and stay together, they're still creating that bond because the more time you spend together, it's like that saying, you'll miss a sore thumb if you had it long enough. So if you had the pain long enough.
I got what you're saying.
Something like that. I may be butchering it a little bit, but I remember my friend used to use that example all the time. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're in a relationship for a couple of months, when you break up, you feel the emotional tear.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Oh yeah, the difference between the long-term relationships versus when you first find each other's
kind of
stuff.
Yeah. No, very well said. That makes a lot of sense. That really does. I like it. I get it. Yeah. Well, happy anniversary to you.
Yes, I'm excited. But yeah, romance is I think it's cool to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you find romantic? I think that's a good question to ask because when you really listen, then you take notes as to what this person would appreciate. That makes your job easier because they're just
Right.
telling you what their love language is. And all you got to do is take notes and adhere to them. Wouldn't that be much simpler?
Yeah. It would
I
be.
think there's nothing wrong with talking about it. If you want
Yeah,
to discover on your own, that's cool. But if it's not working, maybe just ask.
that's true. That's true.
Because, like, for example, if, a guy brings a girl flowers and she's like, oh, thanks. And it doesn't mean anything to her. He's like wondering,
yeah, like what did I do wrong? Right.
what's wrong with you or what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
I think if you see that, maybe talk about it.
Yeah, definitely talk about it for sure.
Or if
No,
he came and, helped her out with something and fixed something at her house and she takes it for granted. She, as if it should be like that for her. And he thinks, oh my God, I just helped you out. This is my way of showing you how much I care about you.
Here,
But
yeah.
she, whatever. Again, maybe that's when you feel like you're not being appreciated.
Talk
I
about
think
it.
it's the time to ask that question. Like, what does
Yeah,
romance mean to you? So,
I think so
I don't
too. I like that. I like that because everybody has a different, love language, and it's good to ask questions.
exactly. Some
I
are
like it.
givers, some are, yeah.
I like that.
Again, I don't think we went with the subject where I thought it would go. I thought we would be talking about different ways of romance, like scenarios and things, but then, yeah.
It takes a different turn. Well, that's us in the tea
No,
talks.
but
We always do that. We take different
I
routes.
like the term because I thought we went kind of deeper than just the scenarios, because everybody can think of scenarios. I mean, that's what Google is for, right?
That's right.
We're not
Google it.
Google. We're we're Wikipedia. I don't know.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. Yeah, I like this. This is a great conversation. Yeah,
Well,
so
thank you.
get
Takes two
talking.
to, converse. What would be what was the most romantic thing that you've experienced so far?
Oh boy, that's tough. I don't know if we have enough time on this episode to get there. It was
That way? It was that good?
yeah, it was pretty good. It's pretty good. I could tell you off air.
Oh,
I
snap. So you don't want to share.
mean,
Wow.
it was very unexpected. It was something that was like, wow, this person really like, this is really good, well thought out. Like most guys, I've never had that, so that was pretty impressive.
So guys, here's a tip. I think for the girls, it's all about the thought you put into it. Why am I
That's it.
looking here? Am I looking at the screen? I don't even know.
Why are you looking at the screen?
Okay. Technology. I'm used to looking in the camera, but when on the phone, it's like, where do I look? It's all about the thought you put into it. I think the more thought, the more creative you get, it melts her heart.
Yeah, and
But
also,
when you do it, I would say do it because you have fun doing it. If you find
yes,
that you're cringing at the thought of it, it's probably not for you. So figure out another way, or maybe ask someone to help you. But if I think it should be both ways, guys and girls. The reason I'm addressing guys is because guys tend to probably have more questions of, well, how do I do this? Because for girls, it comes naturally. Wouldn't you agree?
yes.
So that's why I'm saying, guys, if you put in the thought and if you are genuine about it and if you are enjoying the process, please enjoy the process, because when you are going to enjoy the fact that you're thinking of her and giving an anticipation, you're going to have more fun than she does. I promise you that.
That's
So
true.
let me know how that goes.
Thank you
All
guys
right.
for
Well,
watching.
thank you so much. Yes, we will see you shortly. We love being back. We missed you guys.
Yes,
We missed each other.
yes, we do.
I bet you. Come back, Meosha.
Soon, I promise. And remember,
The better it
it
gets, the
gets.
better it gets.
Hey.
Hey.
Bye, everybody.
We will see you guys next time. Bye. Mwah.
Bye.